Hi guys, my name is Coach Alexander and welcome to this course which is going to teach you about key performance indicators in project management. For those of you who are totally new to this, key performance indicators is the chief cornerstone to measuring progress in any development intervention out there. You see folks, in order to justify an intervention, you have to be able to show to the world that indeed you are gaining ground with your project. There are many projects being implemented across the globe, and each of them are costing huge amounts of money. But you know what they all have in common? They have an ultimate goal that they want to achieve at the end of the day. Before I go any further, I would like to share just a little bit about myself. I am a young man who started his career a decade ago after completing university education in monitoring and evaluation. I have interacted with a diverse group of people coming from different continents such as Europe, Africa, Asia, and even South America. You see, that's because, my line of work has allowed me to travel a lot and meet different people. And I love meeting different people because you get to learn their culture, you get to learn their language, and the way of doing things, which is interesting. When I first got employed back in 2010, I began most of my work in Southern Africa, monitoring and evaluating many projects in the region. It was fun, and that's where I gained most of my experience. The kind of experience I would like to share with you today. That's just a bit about myself, and along the way, we'll get to know each other more. I forgot to mention that the YouTube channel M&D Made Simple was first launched in 2016, and so far I have above 4,000 subscribers. If you'd like to gain access to some tutorials, do not hesitate to subscribe to this channel. I also forgot to mention that in the past 10 years, I have been involved in consultancies contracted by organizations who have implemented basically important projects designed to alleviate poverty. Now, enough about me. Let's understand why key performance indicators in management is a course worth tuning into. Why should anyone spend money learning about key performance indicators? Okay. Well, the truth is, key performance indicators, as the name suggests, is the only way you're going to be able to know whether the pro objectives you planned to achieve are actually happening. As the name suggests, a KPI is simply that which will show you whether you are on track or not. In reality, there are KPIs all around us, okay? And I say this because, for instance, if you ask yourself this question, how are athletics able to tell whether they are running fast or not? Well, it is by simply using some form of measurement, okay? And in this case, when an athlete is running, doing maybe track and field, they're able to measure how quick they are moving using time, and time becomes a variable. So time in this case can be measured in the amount of seconds it takes to cross the finish line. If the runner takes less time to cross the finish line, then he is a fast runner compared to somebody who takes more time. In project management, key performance indicators matter a great deal. They matter a lot, folks. In this course, you are going to learn the following important things. First of all, you're going to learn what key performance indicators are. Secondly, you're going to learn why key performance indicators are important. Thirdly, you're going to learn the different kinds of key performance indicators. And fourthly, you're going to learn examples of key performance indicators. At the end of this course, you'll be subjected to a test and some additional resource materials. I sure hope you will enjoy every moment of this course, and don't forget, see you on the other side, as I always like to say. Okay, let's go on then. So now, what are key performance indicators? Well, let's dissect this word into three. The first thing is key, that word called key. Key means something of crucial importance. Then when you go to performance, it means action yielding results. Then thirdly, indicators, a variable to measure or track change, whether positive or negative. So you see there, we've dissected the KPIs, and you can see that each word has its own meaning. So when you put these words together, you get to understand what exactly we are talking about. When I was but a boy, I first learned about the word indicators a long time ago. You know, when I was young, I first learned about this word, and I only knew it not as KPI, not as key performance indicator, but I knew it as just a word called indicator without having to put key and performance. However, years later, people started mentioning key performance indicators. You hear this person saying key performance indicators. You hear another one saying the same thing. And I paused for a moment to ask myself, why has there suddenly been a change from the word indicator to key performance indicators? Why not just say the word indicator and it ends there? Why did people have to go a bit further and say key performance indicators? Well, then it suddenly struck me. Okay? It suddenly struck me. The reason is simple. There is no end to how many metrics you can measure, but what we want is the most relevant. Let me give you an illustration. Imagine you are a CEO of a company and wanted to know the reason why staff keep leaving even though the working environment is good. Of course, there could be a ton of reasons. Many would probably attribute it to poor pay. Okay, let's say it could be poor pay. Therefore, the right questions you could ask yourself is this: what is the average pay in the industry for this specific job? The second question you could ask: what is the current pay for the staff? Then the third question could be, based on availability of funds, how much salary increment can we give our staff? So now you sit down, you know you're the CEO, you're trying to analyze the problem and look for practical solutions. You see, these are the key questions that you will ask as CEO. Now imagine you want to go further and say, what is the age of the staff? Are the staff married, single, or divorced? And then you have all these other questions until it goes up to, do some of them have a criminal record? Now, if you look at these questions, do you see that there are questions that are relevant and those that are irrelevant? I'm going to leave this short exercise for you right now. Okay? For instance, I want you to look at this short exercise and answer. Give yourself time to answer in 2 minutes. Why do you think the first three questions I showed to you and are more relevant and the rest are just okay questions? Why do you think so? So let me give you just a bit of time. Think about it. Why do you think the first three questions are more relevant? Okay, so now I'll leave it there, and then you are going to find the answers yourself. Try to write the answers down somewhere, and maybe I'll be able to explain in detail why those questions, the first three are important and the rest were not important. Thanks. Welcome back again. I hope you answered the questions correctly. Actually, all the questions are important depending on how you look at it. But the issue at the end of the day is which is the most relevant, which is key. Think of it. Why do employees even leave their jobs? In this case, it's because of better pay elsewhere. So why should an organization waste its money and resources tracking marital status, number of children of their staff, or criminal record, when they could spend less time and money tracking few indicators such as the first three I mentioned? You see, if you look at these questions, I mean, these are too many for one. Okay, of course, sorry. It could be, it could be relevant to know the criminal record of your staff. It could be relevant. But just think of it. You are an organization, you're CEO, people are leaving your institution, and you want to find a solution. And that solution basically is to retain the staff. I mean, will staff be retained by knowing their marital status, or will they be retained by knowing exactly these other things like number of children? No, they won't. But they'll only be retained by knowing exactly what income they are expecting. You need to know exactly the income that staff are expecting. So asking questions and formulating KPIs are closely related. But again, if you have too many questions being asked which are not really answering anything, this can lead to more costs to the organization in terms of time, money, and human capital. It is actually really surprising at how much people are spending collecting information that is not even relevant when they could be collecting less information that actually matters. So, I want you to realize that KPIs are important. KPIs come in different forms and sizes. I want you to realize that. And I'm going to show you examples of how KPIs are used in a practical sense. So now, let's go to the introduction. What are KPIs? Why are they important? What are the different kinds of KPIs? And what are the practical examples? So now, I remember earlier in my career, when I was a young man, there were these two workmates of mine. Actually, they were my supervisors. One was senior than the other. They kept on beating each other up, asking themselves, why is it so difficult to measure results? You see, at that time, which is still the case even today, there was a very high demand for results from donors. And the reason is simple. Donors are spending huge amounts of money to see change. What I remember most about this debate between my supervisors, is that they didn't really understand how to measure results of the projects they were coordinating. And the reason being, they simply didn't formulate the indicators, or at least they didn't do it the right way. When I say indicators, it's the key performance indicators. Of course, they had the strategic logic behind them. Okay, they had all these strategic plans, goals, visions, missions, what have you. But they didn't really have the variables or metrics to measure them. That is why when donors would ask them the question, has the standard of living improved in the rural communities? They would find it difficult to explain. Of course, as is often the case, my supervisors would report good results by informing them that yes, indeed, livelihoods had improved. However, the question still remained, how has it improved? Show us the numbers, show us the evidence. I tell you, that is where people would get stuck. You see, it is not hard to tell when a system is failing, my dear friends. When building any M&D system, among the first things you have to do is ensure that your KPIs are set from the onset. When you do that, you are simply making life easier for yourself. Okay, so now let's quickly look at the three important reasons why you should have indicators. Okay, let's look at the three important reasons. Hi, welcome back again. Now, my question to you is this: why should we bother about developing indicators in the first place? Why is it so important? Well, there are three important reasons why. The first thing is that indicators provide a mean to track progress. Okay, that's one. And two, indicators provide a signal to the organization that there is a weakness in the system. Number three, indicators make it easier to report results to donors. Now, maybe let me look at the second point, which talks about indicators providing a signal to organizations that there is a weakness. The first point is pretty straightforward to understand, and the third point is also pretty easy to understand. You see, friend, one of the reasons why organizations fail today is because they don't know their weaknesses. Well, for some, it could be they just don't acknowledge that they even have a weakness at all. Development, progress in any sector of life is all about knowing your weaknesses and building on them. What these KPIs do is simple. They help you identify what areas you should be improving on. If you have 5 KPIs in your project, if from those 5 only 2 are not performing well, then there is your answer. The 2 are the organization's weaknesses. Here is a practical example of 5 indicators for an organization. So as you can see, there's indicator 1, which is annual revenue, indicator 2, which is sales, 3 is advertising, 4 is customer feedback, and 5 is staff commitment. This example is just a hypothetical example of indicators that a company could be tracking. From the onset, it is not hard to see where the weaknesses are. However, you can appreciate why having indicators can help you already spot where you may not be performing better. I have an exercise for you right now. In a minute or two, discuss how these indicators are interrelated. How does indicator 1 relate with indicator 2 or 3? Once you're done with the answers, then the next part of this training will help you interpret that question. I hope you're going to get it all correct. Thank you very much. Hi, welcome back. Well, getting back to the example, you'll find that indicators wherever you go are usually interrelated. Annual revenue is related to sales. The more sales you have, the more money in your pocket. Also, look at indicator 3. Don't you see how it is related to indicator 2? The more advertising, the better the sales. If you look at customer feedback, you can already see why it is poor. It is poor simply because staff commitment to work is poor. So already, management can spot where the deficiencies are in the organization and take corrective action to address those challenges. So let's quickly look at these two questions. What are the different kinds of KPIs and what are the practical examples of KPIs? Okay, so we talked about I gave you the example of the five indicators for an organization, and we saw that it was used to spot the weaknesses. But now I want you to I want us to look at the different kinds of key performance indicators. So I am going to explain 5 different indicators that I have personally worked with. There could be more, but I like to focus on things I am familiar with. So the first one is the impact indicator. The second one is the outcome indicator. The third one is the output indicator, the input indicator, and then finally the proxy indicator. So these are the 5 indicators that I know. Now, in explaining these indicators, I like to start by giving a practical example that I first came across when I first began my career. This is the example of the dam, the dam constructions. I'm sure you've come across various dams around the world, and there's a picture of a dam. There are a lot of dams around the world, and some are used for various purposes, such as irrigation and water supply. You may have also heard that dams can be used for generation of hydroelectric power, you know. Could be, when the water comes down by means of gravity against turbines, electricity is generated. So that kind of dam is widely used in different parts of the world. Now, our area of interest is when constructing a dam, there is of course a lot of things that goes into it. Well, I am no engineer, but just to drive the point home, you can ask yourself this question. What actually is involved in constructing a dam? Well, you will require labor in form of skilled manpower. You will need money, of course. You will need concrete and stuff like that. The stuff you need to construct a dam, okay, the actual material are known as the inputs. Now ask yourself another question. What is the immediate product that comes out as a result of using these inputs? Okay, you've got the inputs I mentioned could be the material you use to construct the dam, the resources, okay? Inputs are the resources such as human capital, time, money, all those things are part of the inputs. So now what comes out of that? What do you get after labor has been used, money has been pumped in, and so on and so forth? What is the ultimate result? Well, it is the dam. Okay, that's the final product and that's the output. So when we say output indicator, we're talking about the immediate product after you've used the inputs. When the dam is constructed, the outcome of having a dam constructed is power generation. That is the outcome. However, if you ask me what the impact is of having this dam, well, because there is power generation in the region, okay? What that will mean is better livelihoods. Electricity supply to a certain region will mean more economic activity, more money in people's pockets, and therefore better livelihoods. Okay, so have you seen the chain? Okay, you've seen that from the use of human labor, money, time, materials, you construct the dam. That is your product. But the outcome of that dam is power generation. But the impact of having that electricity generated is what you see better livelihoods, because more power energy means economic activity. So I am sure you have derived the maximum benefit of this short training on key performance indicators in management. Haven't you? Sorry about that. My power seems to be going low. So I am so glad you joined me on this training. If you'd like to keep up to date with my latest posts, please don't hesitate to hit the subscribe button. I am so pleased that you joined me this year in 2020, and I am giving away something special. If you like going to Udemy for trainings, okay, once in a while you want to get a training from Udemy, I would like you to enroll for the monitoring and evaluation course. I'm giving away some coupons, and basically, if you click the link just below, but just in the description, you qualify for a discount and you'll be able to access this Udemy course, which is in monitoring and evaluation, at a discounted price. So please click on the link provided right at the beginning of this description, and once you click, immediately you access this course, monitoring and evaluation, at a discounted price. It was this course was the first course I ever did on Udemy, and it has received positive reviews, and I would like you to be a part of, because monitoring and evaluation is it's really the mother of all these other things I've been able to teach, such as key performance indicators. And then there are other videos on this channel which have also taught the same. So I would like you to derive the maximum benefit. Leave your feedback in the comments below. Enjoy the year 2020 and see you on the other side. Bye.
Do you want to access M&E Constancy for only $5? Monitoring and evaluation, which is also known as M&E, is all about understanding where you are, where you want to be, and how you're going to get there. When you engage in any M&E intervention, the first thing you want to do is understand the context. What exactly is it that you want to achieve by having a monitoring and evaluation system? While it's true that many organizations, and not excluding individual persons, see M&E as a donor requirement, the truth is it's so much more. In 2017 alone, donors pumped in at least $27 billion in humanitarian assistance. That alone was a huge, generous commitment, but a tough call, especially if such monies are not accounted for. That's why monitoring and evaluation is important. It bridges that huge gap that gives you the information you need to know about project success. In years to come, M&E Made Simple will embark on a global mission to become an international watchdog in order to get everybody affected by a project or program to become whistleblowers in the management of funds. M&E Made Simple realizes the key importance that monitoring and evaluation plays in the lives of above 1 billion people worldwide, which is why M&E Made Simple has taken the next step to offer expertise in monitoring and evaluation on any topic of your choice. It can be any topic in M&E or project management of your choice, such as undertaking a baseline or evaluation, research, log frame development, and so on. And guess what? All this is only for $5. In order to access this service, simply register a Fiverr account using the link below. This is the first and most important step. Afterwards, use the link that follows to access the service for only $5. This service is open to students, organizations, lecturers, and any other person around the globe. That's all the time we have, and see you on the other side.